then we slow it down and come back into the studio.
Hey.
And then we bring individuals to you that are able to share their wealth of knowledge and information that will help your world, that will help your endeavors, that will help whatever it is that God has placed upon your heart to do. We have two subject matter experts here in the studio with us, and they deal with wealth accumulation and debt elimination. Once again, wealth accumulation and debt elimination. Why? Because some of you have said you wanted to make a little bit more money. That sometimes that the money gets funny. Sometimes there is more month than money. So we want to make sure that that is not your story. And we're here for you. From a debt elimination perspective, we want to make sure that you become debt free, because becoming debt free is paramount. The more money that you pay to the man is less money that you have available for your family, less money you have available for your friends, less money you have available for that nonprofit organization, for that church. So we want to make sure that there are no distractions and no obstacles in such a way where you're not able to save for your retirement, that 529 college education plan, those life insurance policies, those annuities, the things that we need in order to help us later on in life. Oftentimes we're short-sighted in our approach when it comes to money because we have the mindset that we can't take it with us. But you know what? Although you may not be able to take it with you, but the Bible tells us we need to leave an inheritance to our children's children. So if we're not properly prepared to strategically be able to do that, then you are letting them down, you're letting yourselves down, you're letting God down, letting your family down, you're letting your community down. So we need to be better stewards and better examples over that which God has entrusted us with. So that is what we're going to be talking about today.
To sum it up,
Harry and Darlene are here in the studio with us.
Good morning.
You guys want to introduce yourselves to our listeners and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Okay, well, I'm Harry Preston, and
I'm Darlene.
And together we have a means of helping people save money and also make money. And we want to make sure that they understand that there's a tremendous need to eliminate debt.
We build programs. We build programs around your needs and what's out there. A lot of people say, I want to be in business, and that's great. And sometimes they believe that if they can conceive it, I can open this business, I can start a business, and they're ready to go. But there are things that are missing. For example, what's the idea, and what are you going to do with it? All right, we can take it there. There are all these services out there, all these programs out there. Where do I go? What do I do? We try to narrow that all down, and we have been doing that for quite some time. With our program, we bring businesses, startups, as well as longer-term businesses together to be able to join to empower. Actually, our company, when we designed it, was just to network and communicate and learn the different things that are out there that we can actually use. So if you have a business going and or a thought, you want to know, am I in the right area? Is there a need? What's the urgency? Is there an urgency for what I do?
And can I make money off of it?
Exactly. Is that urgency enough where a person wakes up in the middle, I got to take care of this issue. I got to handle this situation. Is that the urgency that you have in your business? Or is it, for example, and I'll just pick on a business, I do hair, you're in a salon. Is that an urgency? Is that an urgency? Well, you know what, for some of us it is. I'm just going to say it. Some of us, some of us have an urgency, but some of it is, but is it truly an urgency that person can't live without the service that you provide, without what you do? And then you can go, okay, what's the next step? All right, so it's an urgency. Well, how are you going to solve that urgency?
And are you uniquely qualified to do that? And what makes you different than other people?
So what's your step up? How do you step out? What's your advantage over another business? Whatever you do,
and competition.
That's exactly
the 3 W's and the how.
Exactly. It's like, what is my competition out there? But what is my advantage? So when we talk about advantage, what do we kind of identify? For
example, if you look at what we do, we are uniquely qualified in the sense that we are also licensed insurance agents. We've been in business for many years. We've owned several businesses, and we've helped people maintain and earn extra income. So that's what you want to do. You want to help people develop an additional income stream, which helps them along with their regular job or business. So we want to make sure that they have that ability. And we do that through several means.
So with those means, what is it that we identified? So I have to get a person's head in the right place. I have to get them to be open-minded. Yes, you've been doing this, but are you making the money you think you should be making?
Right.
And we keep the revenue or the income earning side along with the cost. And the reason we do that is because a lot of people think that the revenue makes them a success. Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but not really. Because is that revenue sustainable? Is it just that it was a time of the year that people needed to do whatever?
Black Friday.
Right? And take advantage at that point.
And is it really covering your costs? Because a lot of times we'll make money, but you're at a hole and not understanding where your money is coming from and where the rest of it's going to sustain your business.
You have an individual that asks you a question. Should I make $100,000 per year? And if I were paying out $110,000 per year, is that a good scenario to be in? Or should I make $40,000 a year, pay out $30,000 a year in debt and expenses, and save $10,000 a year? So should I be a six-figure income earner, overextend myself, earn $100,000, spend $110,000, or earn $40,000 and only spend $30,000, and I'm able to bank 10?
Hold on one second. Let's listen to the question. The answer was there. All right, the answer's there, but we want people to think. Are you putting it all back out without saving anything for the future? Why are you in business? People want a salary. They go after the loans. Let's go get some loans. Let's help build our business so we can get past any hurdle that gets in the way. And then they get the loans. And then what do they say about the loans?
Well, they'll start using that loan money as income. And you can't do that.
Pay their bills.
You have to pay back a loan.
It's not free money. I can go on vacation with that money.
Exactly.
There's that cruise that's coming up that, and in fact, it's a cruise special. So I'm getting it at a discount so I can take the loan money and get the special because now I get to save money on the cruise.
But understand, I need to be rested up so that I can run my business when I come back.
There you go. So there's a purpose,
There's a purpose
for the
behind
expenditure.
it. And I'm going to write it off on my taxes.
Yes.
Now you know when you mentioned write it off on your taxes, a lot of people don't take advantage of the proper write-offs for their taxes. So when we do our seminars, we do seminars across the country, and when we do our seminars, we call them business to business exchange seminars. And the reason that we do them is for that reason. There are a lot of businesses out there. Those businesses may not be utilizing everything that's out there for them.
Absolutely.
One, tax deductions. What type of business do you have? What is actually going towards your business? Now, I'm not a tax advisor at all, so I bring in those professionals, those experts to talk to the group that comes in. And they will tell them exactly what they should use. Financial advisors say, okay, let's sit down and figure this out. Now, the cruise can very well be a tax write-off, a tax deduction, if it's proper in line with what's supposed to be there.
Where there's seminars on that cruise.
Right. I was lucky
Did
to
you
be.
talk about the business? Did you advance your business? But always consult a tax advisor.
Absolutely.
I want to say I was lucky to be able to learn about that a little early because I went in under my mother in her 18-wheeler freight hauling trucking business. And being her executive assistant, I was like her right hand to everything. When it came to personal bills, when it came to insurance on trucks, I'm paying things, I'm making appointments. And while I'm filing 1 million receipts, I'm like, how in the world? How are you spending this money? But literally, I realized you got to spend money to make money. And when you're an entrepreneur, when you're owning your own business and you're paying for, I'm going to do this interview. I'm going to take this person here to this brunch, to this cafe. I'm going to pay for his meal. I'm going to reimburse him for the gas. Like literally, you realize your life becomes a write-off because I realized she would come to her last penny in the beginning of, starting her business. And I'll be like, oh my God, we had to make it or break it moment. And I hope I get paid next week. But my mom in this with you. And then right around the corner, she's like, oh, save the day, a great income, money spent well. And I'm putting in this much on taxes. And seeing how they add up, I'm like, I don't want to work a job. I want my own business. I refuse after seeing my dad and my mother put in the work and filing all of those between miscellaneous, between food, between fuel, everything that becomes like a write-off based on what you do it's amazing. I don't want to miss that.
It's definitely amazing, but I do caution everyone, and I always do this at all of my events. Be sure to put things where they belong and track everything. Keep a calendar. Watch your miles. Make sure that everything that's written down, if you're going to see a client and give them whatever, you want to make sure you have it well documented who you're going to see. Always have more than what you need.
Yes.
Group it from the beginning of the year, over detail, because I guarantee you're going to say, "Oh, I'll remember that," and 3, 5, 6 months down the road, maybe next year, you won't have a clue. What did I do this for? Wait a minute.
And if you are in business with someone, you have to make sure that all parties understand what you're involved with, and because again, you can never overemphasize, over-communicate, and pass on that information so that you all know what's going on and keeping everything above board, because there are times that you could see yourself, now that $110,000 that you've spent on your $100,000 income could be a good scenario in some senses. If by looking down the road, there are larger inputs that are coming in that will help develop your business past that $110,000 that you've spent. For example, you were grooming a client that was coming in that was going to give you double the amount bringing your business to a $200,000 business. That could be a possible scenario. But you have to look at all of those things to make sure that you understand what you're doing. You can't just spend money willy-nilly, go out and saying, well, I'm going to get this eventually. Eventually never comes.
Right. And you're talking about good debt.
Well,
okay, that's a point. That's a little pin in my side always. Good debt and bad debt. Let me throw it out there. Is there good debt and is there bad debt?
From an educational perspective, if you are investing money in your education in order to get your medical doctorate degree, because it's required in order for you to become a brain surgeon, that would be considered good debt if that is your passion. That law degree, you have to pass the bar, you have to go to law school, so you have to incur a certain amount of debt in order to get that law degree. But then obviously after you get out of law school, you're billing out at $250 an hour, you got retainer fees starting at $5,000, so the revenue that you're making is able to cover that debt. So from an educational perspective, also from a vocational perspective, if you want to become a car mechanic, obviously to become a car mechanic, you need a wrench or two. You need some tools. You may need some oil to be able to change oil. If you don't have the cash flow, you may have to go into debt, get some seed, a seed loan, mother, father, sister, brother, sometimes credit card. But the reason why you're getting into debt is to be able to buy that pressure washer so that I can now pressure wash this house so that I can make some money. Because I can't be a pressure washer without a pressure washer.
I think that's the difference between an investment and then debt.
Well, that's
because when you make an
good debt.
investment in yourself, it's not really debt because you're already preparing to pay it back. So it's not like you're behind. It's a part of your plan. Why would you call it debt?
In order to grow.
It is,
right.
I mean, we have to all redefine the word debt, and I'm not talking about the.
That just sounds bad.
Right well, I mean, it is.
But it is debt.
Yeah,
it is debt, and it's the reality of it, and it's something that you don't want to do, but sometimes it's something that you have to do because it's a means towards an end. Just like buying a house. Buying a house is considered good debt. Why? Because the land appreciates, because the value of the house appreciates. And eventually you're going to get a return on that investment if you pay down and you get a good interest rate on that loan. So anything that appreciates in value or anything that can cash flow for you is considered good debt. Bad debt is consumer debt. I'm going to buy those $300 Jordans. Well, that ain't something that you necessarily need in order to grow your business and then make a return on that investment. So a car is really considered bad debt. And if you
base it on priority,
a car in cash, that's what you want to do. Obviously, if you can't, you don't buy new, because the minute it drives off the lot, it depreciates in value by 40%, and you'll never be able to get your money back out. So when you invest money into a vehicle, that's bad debt. When you invest it into a business, it's good debt, unless the vehicle that you purchase is a mobile oil change business. And in order to have a mobile oil change business, to drive your van up to a car lot, to be able to change the oil on a fleet of 100 cars, well, you have to have that van to be able to do that. A moving company, if you're going to be a moving company, you have to go get you a box truck to be able to put people's furniture in that truck so that you can do your business. So once again, you have to evaluate how that money's being spent and the return on that investment that you're going to get.
So the bottom line with what you're saying, and to piggyback on that, the means to an end. What is it? So is it prioritizing?
Right.
No, not quite. It's actually determining and knowing the plan of what you're doing it
Right.
for. Are you doing this to showboat? I have a great car. I mean, I have a wonderful vehicle. I use it for my business sometime or something like that. And I just like this style compared to
But
that
you wouldn't call
style.
that a priority.
See,
That's why I
wouldn't-
use that term.
I say that, as you were mentioning, depending on what the process is. Now, unfortunately, the people that we see, and we talk to a lot because we do debt seminars and we do free analysis to see where you are and what your debt looks like. But when we talk to a lot of people, they, 10 years maybe out of school, still have that debt out there that they still own. And many, many more people than not do not get jobs in their degree that they spent the money.
That is true.
That's what I'm
God
saying.
bless
That
my
is true.
siblings.
To pay that loan when they got it. Every intention, and that $4,000 loan turned into 25, which turned into 100,000. So people are not, unfortunately, the masses are not taking all of that into consideration. Yes,
Right.
I do believe a mortgage is a good purchase as long as you have a plan to get out of that mortgage in half the time or less. If you don't have a plan in place, then rethink what you're doing.
But
You have
really,
to look at
certain
all
loans.
your debt that way.
All your debt.
Yeah, but certain loans you can't even get unless you have a certain amount of money already, or a certain you've been with a bank a certain amount of time, or they have protocol for even getting
Well, there's
a
no loyalty at banks anymore. Banks are not just going to give you a loan because you have a loan with them. Whether you have a mortgage with them and have been paying everything the way they said to pay it. Understand, if you have a mortgage and you pay that mortgage according to the way the company said, the
Anybody will
bank
take
says
it.
to do it, you'll pay it 3 times as much.
Well,
Okay, so we definitely don't want to follow their system.
Right, but I'm
unfortunately,
saying-
banks are looking at your history. They're looking at your business. They're looking at your personal plans.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's a lot of criteria
check
to pass.
stubs, work
That's
time,
right. Now we do work with companies that work with businesses to get loans, but it is everything you do is based on your history and your payment history. But keep in mind that credit is different than debt.
That's
Credit
what I was
score
going to
is
say.
different, and I forget
And
that.
as long as okay, that's what maybe I'm in between right now, because as far as you're saying an investment in a house or an investment in a car, anything like that, I believe that based on priority, I mentioned priority because, okay, if you need it, you need it. Just like if you, like you said, you can't have a car shop and not have 1 or 2 wrenches.
You can't work
So,
without cars
or wrenches. However, wrenches.
Yeah, wrenches, yeah.
I got it this time. So, you know
we,
what?
know, we know he's not going to be a mechanic.
You know what? I am not, but I just watch. You know what? I can read my tire sizes now. That's
Exactly
good enough
right,
for
though.
now.
You're exactly right.
But at the same time, if you have provisions already in place, I wouldn't really call that debt. If you're already working a job and you have a set payment plan, maybe you do get a loan because you don't have the amount of money. But I don't think that loans are just for when you just don't have money, because it's
You get a loan when you have money.
That's the only time you apply
yeah.
for
Well,
it.
that's what I'm
I'm
saying,
sorry.
because
That's
how
the
can
only
it be
time
called
that
Across
debt?
the
you
board,
alone.
across the board, if you owe someone, the meaning to debt.
Yeah, you're
is
right.
If you owe, whether it's
Blanket.
good or bad, as you're explaining, it's a debt. Period.
Yeah.
Debt
At
is
the
debt.
end of the
At the
day,
end of the-
we should owe
at any
no
time.
man,
No man.
but love.
See, that's what I'm
On
saying.
that
Daddy, you
note-
hear
on
this?
that
I
note-
refuse.
We're going to take a break. You're tuned in, family, to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. We'll be right back.
I was going to say, you said the voice of the community. I would like to say all communities throughout the country, because we're in South Carolina. So